And hello everyone, Denise Keniston here, and you can see behind me today that I have the television on. And honestly, I don't watch a whole lot of television anymore, but of course it is a memorable day in that we are electing another president. And if any of you folks follow me, I'm gonna get this just up a little bit more. Follow me on Facebook or watch me on Twitter or any of the other social media, you'll know that I really don't comment on anything political. I'm not an especially political person, but the fact that this is a momentous and historic election isn't lost on me. So so let's get out and vote. My mom, for all the people who know me personally, my mom is actually here. She's off camera right now. And we were just chuckling before I went on the air. Of course, through my television career, she was there through a lot of it. Helping me do my hair when I first started out, and so on and so forth. So this is actually quite amusing for her. So welcome to everybody that is here. This will be the second week of our Ask Denise segment, where we're broadcasting these live on Facebook. And essentially what it is just an opportunity, a lot for my current clients, because sometimes they have questions and they want to have them, answered, immediately, right at that very point. And I'm already getting emails from people who want to hop on. So, and then just for folks who want to kind of hop on and join. And if you have any questions about social media, how to build, hello, how you doing, Larry? Nice seeing you again. Thanks for hopping on. If you have any questions about social media or any kind of digital advertising for your company, or anything to do with just entrepreneurship in general, I think I'm fairly well qualified to speak on that topic. Although about entrepreneurship, I will say this, and hello to Tommy as well. It's nice to see Larry and Tommy and Mike. So one of the things that I want to talk to today is some of the dirty tricks I see people doing on Twitter to get you to like them. So we'll talk about that. I'll put in my 2 cents worth about entrepreneurism if we get a chance, because we're only going to go for a half hour. But the thing that I really like to do, and I always did so much of this when I was broadcasting, was just to take people's questions. So Larry has a question today. So Larry, if you want to put it in the chat. And hello, Anthony. Thank you so much for joining us. And Anthony, I think, is new to this. So Anthony, if you have any kind of questions about digital advertising, video marketing, even throw in a couple of entrepreneur questions. That's sort of what this Facebook Live session is all about. Anthony, you can see behind me that we're actually watching television. I don't watch a lot of television anymore, but it is a historic day. Of course, we're electing a president and such. So yes, please do feel free to do all of that. And Larry asks, is it easier for me to just buy followers? I can buy 1,000 Instagram or Twitter followers for 10 times less than running ads. Am I stupid for doing this? This is the thing. We know that you can buy all sorts of ads out there, and you can get them in bulk. But the problem with that, Larry, is that buying followers in that way is not really building a community. You can buy those followers. A lot of them are fake accounts. So say, just for the sake of argument, I decide that I want to be selling accounts and selling likes or followers. What I'll do is I'll go on Facebook or Instagram, and I'll go on Gmail, and I'll set up 300 Gmail accounts, and then I'll set up 300 Facebook accounts and 300 Instagram accounts, and then I'll turn around to you and say, look, I can sell you 300 followers, but they're empty. They're nothing. They don't mean anything. They're not a community at all. Now, to further go on about that, if you're trying to build a community and you're trying to geo-target, which you likely probably are, Larry, you're not going to get followers in your what we call your trade area. I don't know, some people are saying now that they can guarantee those followers. I still don't buy into it. I know a lot of people now who bought those followers back in the day when it was watched a lot and people were doing it a lot, and now they actually try to go back and scrub their accounts, and they'll try to scrub their accounts of these phony fake followers. They will retweet your stuff, Larry, and he's asking, saying they won't like or retweet my stuff. They will retweet it, but it's coming from fake accounts. So it will look like you have a lot, and I guess that's worth something in terms of attracting other people and looking legit and all of that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, what you're really trying to do is to build a rich community around your brand. So it's better, and we're even going through this with my own company, Web for Retail. We've talked about it. Buying, what's buying? You run ads, you're buying. What's buying? And, the quality of the followers. And I'll tell you the decision that I made, and I made it with my staff, which is this. We're going to go for the quality. You'll always want the quality. You don't want empty retweets. It looks good for a day or for an hour that it lasts on Twitter. But at the end of the day, you want these people to really watch for you. You want them to be there for you in the long run. And that empty profiles are not going to be there for you on the long run. I understand it's less expensive. I would still say to do it and run the ads, because you can geo-target them and they are actually people in your trade area. Now let me say this. We know that there's all kinds of men and women out there who have 1 million Twitter followers or 900,000 followers. And am I saying that they didn't buy any of those, and are they junky followers just to inflate their numbers? Probably. But this is, we're going into 2017 now, and I think most people really understand the value of a rich, deep community, a social community that rallies around your brand. And what's really cool about it, I was just talking to somebody, actually Nick, who you're going to be hearing from tomorrow, actually sells stuff online through Facebook. And Nick and I were talking about this, and he really talks a lot about how he has attracted the kind of followers that like his stuff. And he's done it slowly, and I'm one of them. I actually end up buying something from him. But he's done it slowly, and it's much more meaningful. So I understand you're just itching to go buy those followers to instantly inflate your numbers. And that will work for a little while. But look, when you're on Twitter, people can go in and see your followers, right? They can click on and see your followers. And people will know if they're junky followers. You see what I'm saying? We've gotten more savvy than we used to be. So this would be my suggestion to you. Could never tell you what to do in something like that. But me, I would take it slow and steady wins the race. And the real key to all of this, Larry, is going to be content. We know it's very easy now, pretty straightforward. I'll say easy is maybe not the correct word, but pretty straightforward for you to be able to, the layman, to be able to post on all of these different platforms. Not especially difficult, right? So the thing that you have to do now is to think about content, because you have like 8 seconds and to get someone's attention. So the best way to do that really is to have great content. And I know you're going to say to me, and my battery is a little low on my phone, folks. I hope I don't lose you. I might just plug it in and have to hold this up with my hand. But if you're looking to create your own content, say, Larry, and this one's for you, Tommy, that you want to start making quotes for your Instagram account. And you're not a designer, you don't have one on staff. Use Canva. It's canva.com. Use Canva, and you will be able to make some really light graphics that will work very well for you. That will work very well for you as you start to create content. I will also say this about video, and quite clearly I'm putting my money where my mouth is when it comes to video, because we're producing video for Web for Retail and for the Denise Keniston brand. And I understand that that's a little bit more difficult than just doing some graphics on Canva. But if you start with Canva and you start with your cell phone, I've got my mom's phone, you know, you start with your cell phone and you just take great pictures. Like I'll use my friend Nick, who I just bought a bag from. Every morning he goes out for a walk, and he lives in the Czech Republic, and he takes these incredible pictures of where he lives, which are just amazing. And how does that sell bags, you're going to ask? Well, I just got so hooked into watching him, you know, and watching for those photographs in the morning that it led me to his brand, and then so on and so forth. So let's see, we've got a couple of other questions. So social media experts recently shed some light on the latest multi-million-dollar market to take the world by storm, fake Twitter followers. There are hundreds of websites that trade fake followers, and we can make that, I think you can see that, Larry, in the chat from Tommy, is that those fake followers really aren't what you want. I'm not saying people haven't done it, but from my perspective, they really aren't what you want. So yes, and there are statistics there about famous people who have bought their followers. See, I'm still a believer in doing this and doing it right and being as real as possible. I think people can see through when you're not being real on social media. Maybe 5 years ago when it was all brand new, we didn't know, but we have gotten smarter and certainly more discerning in the way in which we consume media and consume social media. And I think that people really can tell the difference. And if you start now, right now, today, and for just what I was saying to Larry, use that website Canva. It's really a light graphic production. You can create graphics there. It's for the layman, but still they're good enough to be great content. So now more than ever, even here at Web for Retail, we talk all the time about content. We don't worry about the delivery system, and so because the actual delivery system is really not the issue anymore. So yeah, I wish my daughter was watching this because she loves Taylor Swift as well, and we actually went to a concert a couple of summers ago, which was great. So we love Taylor Swift. It must be that she bought followers. Is that how she kind of came up in this? Because I'm not seeing the whole article at this point, but that's really where it's at for me, is getting more into the content. That should be your focus. And in some respects, if you love your business and love what you're doing, this almost becomes kind of an obsession. You will think about it a lot. You will think, okay, how am I going to present my company today? What am I going to do that's cool and interesting, that frames my company in the best way possible, and by extension will also draw new customers or build out my community or my potential client base even more. So I still believe in being authentic. I don't know, it could be proven wrong, so that's kind of the answer to that. I will say this, folks, I'm going to walk off camera just for a second because I feel like I might need to plug my phone in, so hang on just a second. I want to get this plugged in, see if we can. I just am afraid that I'm going to run out of juice, and we're getting quite a few people on today because I think it's starting to catch on a little bit. So one of the things that I want to talk about is this, and we do everything on the fly here, folks. I'm sorry. I'm just redoing my tripod, so you're getting like my eyeballs right in your face. Yeah, so one of the things that happens on Twitter, just about creating a following, folks, that I find quite annoying. All right, so I'm just getting some juice now, is this. And this happened to me on Saturday morning, because I never sleep. So Saturday morning, I posted something up on my Twitter account. It was promoting something that we had done. It was a graphic that led to a YouTube video that we have. And like that, 10 people liked it. Oh, I said, wow, this is great. 10 people liked that post. But nobody followed me. They liked my post, but nobody followed me. So I've kind of caught on to this, right? So it used to be if somebody liked a post of me, I'd run right over and I'd follow them. They didn't follow me, but I would follow them. What's that all about? So are you liking my post so that I will follow you and then you don't have to follow me and it'll make you look like you have more followers? Or you're somehow trying to flatter me and trick me into doing this? So I didn't follow any of those 10. By yesterday morning, my 10 likes had decreased to 6 likes. So they took their like away when I wouldn't go over and follow them. So, and then some people also do this other thing on Twitter where you'll see they don't follow you, but they'll add you to a list. And you can see the notification. And it will say, Bob Smith just added you to his list of really cool people. And then you run over and you follow him if you're a novice. And then he never follows you. These are the little like bait things that people do to get you to follow them because everybody wants to have more followers than they have following. You see what I'm saying? And the more, if you have like 10,000 followers and you follow 87 people, it makes you look like a movie star. Like everybody wants to follow you, but you don't need to follow anyone back because you're such a big deal. So I kind of get that. I do, but I still don't think any of that is real. I think at the end of the day, people like me are hip to it. People like you are probably hip to it. It's like, come on, don't play that game. We're all just here. You're not a movie star. You're not a celebrity. So why don't you just like people back? If you like them, if you want to follow them, but don't try to do these tricks. So Larry asked, Denise, are there specific hashtags to use when using Twitter or Instagram that will reach more people? There are, and there will be hashtags that are related to your specific business model. And yes, Larry does ask good questions. So there is, and you can search this in Twitter, and there are other tools online, and Tommy's here with me. Tom, there's a mobile app that we use when we're posting to Instagram that gives us good hashtags. If you can think of that off the top of your head, could you put this in here in the chat? Because especially with Instagram, if you use great hashtags, Tommy actually does our Instagram, and we just get hundreds of people who like our Instagram photos and our graphic work and stuff. And that's because of the way Tommy uses the hashtags. Hashtags also work on Twitter. So say for the sake of argument, you own an appliance store and you want, we use like appliance porn. And Tommy says there's an app called Tag for Likes. So that'll give you the ability, at least when you're using your Instagram, to say, okay, I own an appliance store and appliances, and what are the other hashtags that apply to that. Hashtags are so important for Instagram, and there are other ones, by the way, other than Tag for Likes. Same thing with Twitter, super important. Not such a big deal for Facebook. So we do tag some on Facebook, but we really don't bother with it otherwise. So yes, so big deal for Instagram. You can search, any kind of number of places or websites that will give you hashtag ideas for your business. And then for the app on your phone, then of course there's Tags for Less, and that will give you a bunch of ideas, at least for your Instagram account. Somebody asked me just this morning, I think it was, what is more important, Denise, Twitter or Instagram? And I think that really depends on the business that you have and the kind of quality that quality of your content. So again, we'll be talking to Nick tomorrow, who I bought the bag from. But Nick takes these beautiful, and he lives on like a gentleman's farm in the Czech Republic. Sounds kind of wild, but it's remote, and there are these panoramas, these pastoral views. And so I think it was him that was asking me that question, and I said, well, then Instagram is a natural for you, because he has a great knack, and he himself is a natural for a photographer. He's not a professional photographer by any means. He just uses his phone. So yes, there we go. I think I just see Freddie. So yes, big hashtags are entrepreneur, like for like. For me, because I drive a BMW Ballin, and hashtag boss lady is one of my hashtags that my team that helps me do all of this has chosen for me. But let me say this about the hashtag boss lady. Over on Twitter, I have found a bunch of other boss ladies, and we all talk back together, i.e. women who own businesses or are entrepreneurs. And so the hashtag boss lady has now expanded to hashtag boss ladies. And we even get men in on it too. So you just never know where these things lead. And the thing about social media is that it gives you the opportunity to be light, to be a little funny. I know when you're running a business, and as an entrepreneur, I can tell you, I know this as well as any entrepreneur, what happens in the course of a day isn't always funny. It can be really stressful, and people, who don't run their own business, who have never really been an entrepreneur, a true entrepreneur, which is to run something or start from something from scratch, and to get other individuals to pay you for whatever it is that you're creating. You can't really truly appreciate all of that. I'll go a little bit off topic, because I did want to talk about this a little bit, mostly because it's top of mind to me. But when you start a business, when you are an entrepreneur, if that really is your obsession, be prepared to work your butt off. I know you've heard it, but this is a relentless, endless game that you're in if you are an entrepreneur. If you have that thing that just nags at you and eats at you and just nag all the time, truly that's what it takes. You will have to sacrifice so many things to get it off the ground. I think the numbers are, what are the numbers? I think the numbers are like only 80% or maybe even less of all businesses that start in the first 2 years even make it. Okay, so you'll hear all about, wow, I didn't have the money, I didn't have the this, I didn't have the that. I started my companies, I bootstrapped them, and I'm not bragging or any of that kind of thing. I'm just saying it wasn't money really that was necessary. It was that drive that just pushes you forward day in and day out. The hard reality is when you do this, it will take time from you if you have a family. If you have young children at home, you will have to have a very understanding partner, because when you're starting a business, it is not all glory. Certainly in the beginning, it can be very glorious. Hello, Sharif. It can be glorious, and it can be exciting, and it can be sexy and fun and all of those kinds of things. But what happens behind the scenes, it can be really rough. It's a rough and tumble sort of thing, and you need to be prepared for that. It's just the reality of what being an entrepreneur is. So you got to kind of have that drive, that thing that just won't let you alone, that thing that in your head just says, I just got to stay up one more hour and research this one thing for my business. Or you wake up in the morning and it might not be your family might not be the first thing you think about. It might be your business. It's like having the biggest, most needy child right there at your feet. Another thing that will happen is you get invested in it. You'll invest money. You'll invest your time. When we say sweat, I get that, you know, sweat on your brow, but what I'm talking about is the sweat that's in your heart. It will own you in many respects. And if you don't love that, if you don't absolutely love that, and if you can't get people to share your vision, that's another thing. You will need people. It's too lonely a walk. You'll need people. You'll need the bodies. You'll need the labor, the staff, but you will need people. You'll need their feedback. You'll need them to understand what your vision is. If they don't understand what your vision is, all is lost. And if you have one weak link, you can't succeed. Believe me when I say this about staffing and having the people around you. You will need them. You will need people that understand you, respect you, and can see your vision and buy into what you're doing. People are motivated by money, that's true, but that isn't the only thing people are motivated by. And people, from my experience, want to belong to something that's good and interesting and has its fun moments. And they also want to see their boss in the trenches working with them. So I've gone on my rant about entrepreneurism, and I have so much more to say about that, and I've walked that walk. I've walked that walk, folks. Legit, I really have, and I do every day. But let's not get so heavy about it. Larry asks, how effective are videos versus pictures on social media? Pictures are still very good. I love video. The internet is now technically prepared to digest video, and it doesn't need to be buffered. Remember that term, buffering your video? So now people are consuming more and more video, certainly consuming more and more live video. So for me, it's video. Now I understand that in some respects I have an advantage. Obviously, I've done a lot of on-camera work. I understand how to shoot, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Still the same. The phones, and I'm just talking into my iPhone. The phones make it so easy. Back when I was doing television news, a TV news camera, and this was a long time ago, okay? By the way, if you keep watching my Facebook, you'll see a news clip from 25 years ago. We're going to put that up on Throwback Thursday. So I understand that video is kind of daunting, but we have the phones now. And back when I was doing TV news, those cameras cost like $60,000. And now for a couple $100, you can accomplish the very same thing with your phone. So remember that your phone, you talk on it some. I barely talk on it anymore. I text on it and I do social media on it. But think of your phone as a content creation tool. That's what it really is. It's a content creation tool. I think what I'll do is I'll show you the apps and how I have my app structured on my phone. I'll do a screenshot of that because I literally have a folder that says media creation tools, and that I have production and so on and so forth. But that's really what this phone is now. And that's what we're in, okay? And even for the person who says, wow, I don't have a business, so what does this mean to me? I'm gonna leave you with this thought. Think about this. Think about if you start today, okay? You're like, wow, this stinks. I only got like 100 followers. If you start today, now time, as my mother always said, time's going by anyway. Think about the following you could have in 5 years. If you don't have a business, think about your personal following, your personal brand. Because you know what? At some point, everybody needs to have a community. It's just life. It's just the truth. And if you have that built-in platform, and you have ever thought in your mind, wow, I'd like to sell whatever, or I've got a service, or I've got a this or whatever, you will already have that built-in community. Larry's got one more question. I want to say this. My daughter turns 22. My daughter turns 22 Saturday. And my gift to her is I'm giving her a blog with a great following. And we're gonna be working with that with her. And she said to me, she was like, Mom, you're just crazy. Who gives their kid a blog? Because my daughter's only 22. She will be able to build out her brand and her presence on the internet for the rest of her life. How awesome is that? Okay, so, oh yeah, big shout out to Mama Bear, who is officially in the building. And how can I grow my email list? That is a really hot topic. And I'm going a little bit over, Larry. You can do it through social media. There are many different ways to do it. I gotta wrap it up for now. Tomorrow, I'll talk about the email list issue, the question that Larry just asked. And I'm also going to be talking about how you sell stuff online. I just did an interview with Nick today over in the Czech Republic, and we'll show you how he didn't mean to, but he did. He used Facebook groups, attracted me, and then I followed the breadcrumbs and ended up buying something from him. So that's going to be tomorrow. So here we are at 12:32. I'm never political on social media. All I'm going to say is that it's our responsibility to vote. So if you haven't voted yet, get on out and do that. And thank you, gentlemen, for all hopping on, all of your questions. It really means a lot to me. The hashtag Ask Denise was just a sort of a brainstorm that we had. And as the true entrepreneur and somewhat impulsive person that I am, we just kind of rushed forward. But I really, really do love it. I really love the way it's working out. So thank you so much, and I will see you all tomorrow. Peace out.